Hey guys, it's been a while. We all know that the time split came about because of three potential outcomes in Ocarina of Time. One ending showcases a boy with the knowledge of the future showing up with the Triforce of Courage. Using that, he warns the royal family of the upcoming betrayal from their newest ally, Ganondorf. In another future, that very same Ganondorf gained the Triforce with the Hero of Time appearing 7 years later. After the hero resolved the conflict, he then mysteriously disappeared, never to be seen again. The third split, though, it comes about from the exact same scenario, except that instead of the hero winning, Ganondorf is the one to triumph. With the hero falling, Ganondorf goes unchallenged, which ultimately results in the downfall timeline. Now for the big catch. In those two outcomes during the conflict with the Great King of Evil, the Hero of Time has a companion with him, one who might very well save the day and stop the hero's defeat, and her name is Navi. So the question that I'm presenting is simple. Why didn't Navi save the Hero of Time? Even better though, did her not saving him result in the creation of the downfall timeline? I'm Cornelius Belmont, and let's talk about the selfish Navi theory. Thanks for joining me. If you want to see similar content like this, please like and subscribe to the channel. Special thank you to these people for letting me use their assets. Spoilers ahead for the following games. Let's get into it. It has been a long staple of the Zelda series that fairies restore life. In nearly every game, they are presented as a means to heal our hero, often being able to save his life after death when things are not going his way. While never explicitly stated, it's long been speculated that fairies die when doing this, as they are giving up their own lives to heal others. Great fairies seem to be the exception here, as they can use their powers to bless and heal others without such a sacrifice. Perhaps they are using their own life energy to heal others and merely replenish it later, but that is a theory for another time. Regardless if they do die after healing a person, or if they just flutter off free to do whatever fairies do, the fact remains that they all seem to have the trait of healing others. That of course leads to the natural question of, why would a fairy companion to the Hero of Time not heal him in his time of need? After all, if all fairies are able to heal, and the fate of the kingdom or much worse is at stake, wouldn't that be the only logical course of action? A simple answer coming to the defense of our favorite nuisance is that Navi was tasked with a higher purpose than simply healing Link, especially if such an act would cost her her life. That logic breaks down when the stakes get really high though. Saving Link's life at any time during the journey is of course something she would be willing to do, because with the hero dead, so too is any hope of overcoming the current threat to the land. We can headcanon this away by imagining that she is not willing to do this for some important reason. Perhaps the Kokiri fairies can't heal, even though there is never any indication in the story that they would lack this fundamental aspect. Perhaps Navi was instructed not to heal Link by the Deku Tree, though I would find myself greatly questioning such an order, even if it would explain her behavior. There is also a fun theory floating around about Navi being an evil servant of Ganondorf. I will link that in the description. My point here is that no matter what Navi's mission may be, if she has the power to heal, which she should as she is a fairy, then there is no excuse to ever let the hero fall without trying to heal him. If she is unable to heal, then there should have at least been a single line of dialogue that explains this. Perhaps she could speak up the first time Link captures a fairy, or maybe bring it up when Saria is mysteriously missing her fairy later on. Regardless, to not include such a line is simply bad writing. So, if Navi can heal, the big question becomes, why doesn't she? For this, I'm going to lean in the direction that fairies die when they heal a person. Or, at a minimum, I guess fly away. If this is the case, then Navi's failure to do so reflects something that we don't see in many fairies throughout the series: a personality. In short, Navi may not do this because she is afraid of doing it. Perhaps because she doesn't want to die. If this were the case, it would be a great bit of writing that adds to her level of depth. Let's face it though, the creators probably didn't want a mechanic like this, where Navi could function as a standard fairy. Worse, they may have actually created the guide mechanic for Link first, and slapped on the fairy dressing afterwards, without thinking about fairy healing implications. It's sad to think about that though, because it could have led to a very interesting and meaningful alteration to the ending had they thought about it a little bit more. During the fight with Ganon, Navi serves very little function. Even after she resolves herself to help, she doesn't do anything to actually help in the fight. It is also worth noting that after this point and beyond, she has no dialogue. Consider this. Since Navi's mission up to this point was to guide Link to this very moment, you would think that in the face of absolute failure and the complete collapse of the kingdom, perhaps even a complete corruption of all that exists, she would be willing to heal Link if he was going to die. This would have presented an interesting opportunity for the developers at this moment. Effectively, they could have given the player an extra fairy to use during the battle, one that isn't marked in your inventory like the usual stored ones, but instead has been with you the entire game. Imagine then that Link takes a fatal hit, that he has already exhausted his supply of fairies, and you were supposed to get a game over. The game could then have Navi sacrifice herself, perhaps with a brief line of dialogue along the lines of, "You can't die here, I won't let you," and then she sacrifices herself. From that point forward, the ending would play out the exact same, except that scene where Navi flies away is absent. It would make things hit a little harder emotionally if you ask me. In some ways, a parallel could be drawn to how there is a minor difference at the end of Super Metroid, if you choose to save the animals. Regardless of what might have been, the consequences of Navi not actually saving Link, and then later with the construction of the timeline that shows the Fallen Timeline branch, it all makes Navi look pretty bad. The words selfish and cowardly come to mind. Perhaps a bit ironic given that she is supposed to be guiding the hero who has the Triforce of Courage. Because there is a scenario where the hero lost and Hyrule went into decline, fault can be attributed to Navi for not healing the hero at that critical moment. It is possible that she did sacrifice herself, but there has never been any indication of that act. And these books have been out for a long time. Zelda Encyclopedia in 2017, and Hyrule Historia, which premiered the timeline over a decade ago in 2011. As we know, the results of the hero's defeat was catastrophic. The Sealing War happened, locking Ganon away with the unified Triforce. In a previous video, I talked about how that may have led to the royal family wiping out the Gerudo people, all because of the theft of their sacred artifact. Eventually, a new hero would claim the Triforce from that corrupted sacred realm, and with its unlimited and poorly defined powers, the royal family would use it frivolously, leading to a golden age. That would ultimately lead to decline once a young prince was intent on using it solely for his selfish desires. When he was refused by his sister, the current Princess Zelda, he would put her to sleep forever. It would be over 2,000 years later that a hero would finally save her, but by then, Hyrule would be a shadow of its former glory, and its fate from there is unknown. The butterfly effect is strong. In this case, though, it was the action of one fairy and the weight on her wings that led to the worst part of Hyrule's history. Well, what did you think of the video? Go ahead and leave your opinion in the comments below. I look forward to reading it. I'm getting back into action around here now, so you can expect more Zelda videos to come, especially with Tears of the Kingdom on the horizon. If you like what I do, a like and subscribe go a long ways. I'll see you next time, and thanks again for watching.